Welcome back to another episode of the Grassroots Tennis Podcast, a platform created to entertain, educate, and grow the game of tennis at all levels. My friends call me Ship, but this show isn't about me. We will be bringing you interviews with coaches, community leaders, and players, along with updates about tennis happening around the world. Tennis is a culture, and we are all writing tennis history together. Today, I am here with Ema Burgic. I hope I did a good job on that. If not, you'll have to correct me ever. I for everyone out there, AKA Tennis with Ema. You may have seen her videos on Instagram. Ema is originally from Bosnia. She was Big 12 Player of the Year, top 5 in NCAA in both singles and doubles, a 7-time All-American, and to this point, rocks a career high of about 140 in the world, and she's currently in the process of making a comeback. So who knows what by the time we're all done with that career high will be. We can only hope and wish you the best. Ema, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me here. And you said that I'm the first female to be on the podcast, so I feel very honored to have that.
We are well past due. I've been trying. I've not everyone checks their DMs the same way on socials, and I've got a lot of people scheduled, but it's been harder to get female guests. It just has been, but I'm not surprised by that. For people that follow tennis, especially tennis players with gambling and stuff like that, I know a lot of mean, nasty messages get sent on social medias. So I'm not super surprised that a lot of the people I've messaged maybe haven't seen, me trying to reach out yet. But I hope with our goal here at the Grassroots Tennis Podcast, we want to have the ability to give back. We want to have conversations that don't expire. And I know there's a lot of great female tennis brains out there in the world that have a lot to share. Ema, let's talk about you. First and foremost, obviously, you grew up in Bosnia, right? Which is, I'm not super familiar with Bosnia in general, but I love cultures. I've got a lot of friends from other countries. Could you maybe first and foremost tell us, I don't need a whole background, I'm not saying anything crazy, but maybe something cool about Bosnian culture, just really, really short little tidbit, give me something. And then also how junior tennis is kind of structured in Bosnia. What was it like growing up playing tennis in Bosnia?
Well, these Balkan countries, right? You have Bosnia, right, Serbia, Croatia, Macedonia, Slovenia, and before it was Yugoslavia, but now they call it like Balkan. It's Balkan countries. So growing up there, a lot of talented players that you can see now too, a lot of talented players, but unfortunately the federation doesn't invest a lot of money in tennis. So that was always the problem, especially in Bosnia. Growing up there, it was just like, it was really, really hard. That's why, I came to America when I was 18 to go to college. If I had more support, I would definitely just go professionally and I would not go the college route per se, because it was hard, from a small country, you barely know anything about Bosnia. So that was tough. That's why you have a lot of, like, for example, Marin Cilic, he's actually Bosnian, but he plays underneath the Croatian flag because the Croatian Federation was supporting more. Andrea Petkovic, she's also from Bosnia. Bernard Tomic, he's from Bosnia. There's a lot of players that are from Bosnia, but they're playing for other, under other flags. But I'm gonna always play for Bosnia because I love my country. Something interesting about Bosnia, I don't know, the food is amazing. We had in 1984, we had Winter Olympics there in Bosnia. The mountains are beautiful and winter is very beautiful, with if you like skiing, and we have 4 seasons. So I love it. I love people there. I love food. I do miss my country a lot. I try to go once a year. That's it. Short and sweet.
Travel's expensive and travel is difficult. And if you're still back visiting once a year, it sounds to me like that's a destination for a vacation. At least it is for you. I think Bosnia needs to run some ads and commercials for travel for Americans on television, and they can let you be the spokesperson like they ran those commercials with Federer for Switzerland. I think you're making a great case. My follow-up question is, what languages do people primarily speak there?
So it's Bosnian, but
Okay.
Bosnian is the same as Serbian and
Okay.
Croatian. Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian is the same language, but they're, I mean, it's like saying American or English, or like just a little
The
different accents
dialect.
or something. The
Gotcha.
dialects, yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That's not usually where my conversation starts. I'm going to hit you with a couple quick hitters, but with you being from a different culture, I kind of wanted to understand that background just a little bit. Uh, I have to know, what is the racket of choice?
I just switched rackets, and it's Wilson Ultra. I honestly don't know much about it. I tried many different rackets lately, and nothing really set with me like that good. Like, and I really like the Wilson Ultra right now. That's what I'm using. I just switched from head. But my all-time favorite racket is Babolat Pure Drive 2015, year 2015.
You like the
I don't know
2015?
if it's my, yes, I don't know if it's my favorite because that's when I played really good with it,
Yeah.
or I don't know why, but it is. I even now when I take the racket and I play with it, it feels so good.
I understand that. I think the Pure Drive is might this is a hot take, but I think the Babolat Pure Drive, once you get addicted to the Babolat Pure Drive, the sweet spot on any other racket just doesn't feel as good. Like, it is the hardest racket to wean yourself off of, because if you pick it back up again, there's something that just feels good about when you hit a ball real clean with it. I grew up on the Pure Drive. I get it. It's a good racket. It's a really good racket. Do you put weight in your extra weight in your rackets? Do you weigh them down?
I used to in the Babolat Pure Drive. I used to. Right now I don't. I might do it, but right now I don't.
Okay.
I'm not that a person. I always say this also to my clients and to my students. You know, when they ask me about the rackets, about the strings, I'm not the person to ask about what strings, what rackets. I'm like, whatever feels good for me, that's what I use. You
Right.
know, like I was never an, I have like students and I have clients that know way more about strings than me. They come to me and they're like explaining everything. Maybe I should get into it now that I'm playing again, or just to be more knowledgeable about it. But honestly, I say whatever feels good, you go with that. You
I
try
think
different things.
I don't hate that answer. I get what you're saying. It's funny. You ever heard the saying, like, I know just enough to be dangerous? It's like, but I could also, I'm like, I don't know this or I don't know that. So my answer to a lot of people when they ask me stuff is, let me look that up. Let me get back to you. Let me read up on that,
Yeah,
because I don't mind to make the effort if somebody really wants to know. Because if I don't know, I'm like, oh, I should probably know that too. But yeah, I totally know what you mean.
yeah.
Plus, every player's not the same, and your tastes might change when you try something new. So, um, I have to just start. This is not where I normally start, but obviously you are so active on social media with all of your coaching. I love your content. I love how consistent it is. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are following what's going on the page Tennis with Emma. Um, how did that whole thing start?
So it started actually exactly 3 years ago in July, 3 years ago. Have you followed Intuitive Tennis? Have you seen Intuitive Tennis?
Yeah,
Okay. So Intuitive Tennis, his name is Nick. Nick, I met him like 5, 6 years ago at the courts where I was coaching, and he was coming there getting some lessons. We met because he's Croatian, and we became friends, and we kept in touch. And I actually coached his daughter for a little bit. And then, you know, he loved the way I was coaching, how I was on the court. And, you know, he was already big into YouTube. He's like one of the top tennis YouTubers in the world. And he's like, you need to start your social media. You need to start your social media. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't have time, you know, and I just had my first kid too. And I was like, I'm so busy, I can't do this. He's like, no, there's not enough female coaches out there. And he's like, you're going to be the best female coach, at least on social media in the world. I was like, oh my God, now you're like overdoing it. Like, let's calm down here. He's like, just start. He's like, I'll help you out with whatever you need, but you gotta start. And he's like, you gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent and you gotta start. You gotta start somewhere. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I started 3 years ago, and you know, it wasn't a fast process, it was slow. At the beginning, it's slow, right? At the beginning, it's slow. And I always say that to people now too, you know, they're, you know, starting with this social media and are always asking, like, how do you do it? How did you do it? Like at the beginning, it's hard. It's like with everything in life. It's like with everything in life. You have to work hard. You have to start at the bottom and you have to climb your way up. You cannot from like just an employee to being a VP of the company or whatever. It's the same. It's the same. So just how much work you're putting in. And I was putting in a lot of work. Once I hit 10,000 followers, it was easier and easier and more. And then people like got to know me more and are respecting me more now, like getting followers. It's, you know, and I still want to grow a lot and I'm still doing it, but, you know, a little bit differently. Now I'm making money from it. Now I can delegate some things, you know, I can hire people to edit my videos. I can hire people to, you know, post on my social media, respond to comments, do the engagement and all this stuff that I did all by myself before, you know. So it started basically like that, thanks to Nick. And then I started YouTube as well. I just started like a year into it. I started YouTube. So it's been like 2 years that I'm on YouTube, and I just started getting monetized on YouTube because it takes a long time until you get monetized on YouTube. And then, you know, TikTok, and then a little bit Facebook, and that's it. So yeah, I started just, and I hired somebody from Boston, actually, like a friend of mine. She has a branding agency. So she was giving me some tips, you know, at the beginning of how to post, like where are we going to focus on. We had the strategy and everything of what I am, what my brand is, what I want my brand to be. And then when I stopped working with her, I feel like I kind of lost that, like, okay, one minute I'm just like posting things, you know, I was just like, let me just post something. But with her, it was like more structured of like, okay, we want to showcase the kids that I'm coaching. We want to showcase the adults. We want to showcase my talent. We want to showcase my kids and my, you know, life, personal life, and kind of like a little bit of everything. Now I have a marketing agency that I'm working with, and we have, you know, different strategies that we're working on, you know, what I'm posting, when I'm posting it. You know, today is Friday. I started this 4 weeks ago. I have Q&A Fridays. So on Fridays, I respond to all the Q&A and, you know, stuff like that, little things like that. It constantly changes. You have to be like on top of it all the time, you know, of something that worked a few months ago. Some videos that worked then, now they're not working. We gotta switch it up, you know. You gotta come up with something new. You gotta be on top of the game. And as soon as I get a little lazy per se, you know, like, okay, like yesterday I just posted an old video that I posted like 3 years ago. I'm like, a lot of people haven't seen it. Okay, for the new followers, because I haven't really had time to create new content. So I'm like, yeah, let's just post this one. And I just told the girl that's helping me. I was like, just see what caption I put and just do it, you know. But because it's hard with my schedule, with everything. But it's a big part of my business. It's a big part of my brand. That's why I will keep going with it, right? And now I'm growing my YouTube channel. Now I'm growing my podcast as well. So, you know, it's constantly growing. I'm constantly moving. And I feel like I'm talking so much right now. You asked me one question, how it started, and I'm already like on how it's going now.
No, I'm loving it. I love it. The show's not about me. This is great. I'm loving everything that you're saying. A couple just things that are sticking out to me is I totally agree that we really need more female leadership as far as coaches. There's a lot of great female tennis players, and I think like especially for those female players out there, they need a lot of times, and not always, not that a man can't do a good job, but a strong female, the relationship piece. And I with that gap, you're obviously kind of giving advice to a lot of girls out there who maybe don't have that female touch, and they're not giving female advice. Maybe they're looking for, you know, what does another female player say, and maybe they stumble across your content. So I feel like you are really kind of filling a gap in a way. I know for one of my players in particular, there's not really any female coaches in the area, and she comes for lessons, but she loves your content, and she'll share your videos with me if she sees something really cool, and I vice versa. Uh, it's a great thing. The other thing is, yes, everything is slow at first, but I always tell people in life, slow is fast, and fast is really fast. You have to learn to appreciate the slow times, because now I'm sure you are busier than you could even imagine. People constantly trying to message you, get your attention, pulling you different ways for your business, especially when you are your business. I mean, that's crazy. I love everything that you shared. I'll hit you with the next question. You can talk as long as you want. I'm just enjoying this is and we can go, you know, as long as you want to go. So obviously someone that, you know, you're trying to make a comeback right now. Obviously, you know, you've played tennis at an elite level. People don't understand, you know, if you've been ranked 140 in the world, you know, that's a starting player on a team, you know, in the WNBA. That's a starting player on an NBA team. There's 450 guys on active rosters in the NBA. You're at 140. You are so good. It's crazy. And obviously, you know, as time goes on, we hope that, you know, all these tours, the WTA, the ATP, and everyone will work together. What we want to see is the game of tennis grow, and we want to see people being able to make a living and grow the game. And obviously, eventually, that get that money to even trickle down into smaller communities, make it exciting, get more people playing the game. That's what we want. From your perspective, you know, someone that's making a comeback now, is there anything that you would like to see change about the way that WTA is currently structured from bottom to top? Is there anything you'd like to see them doing differently?
That's a great question. About WTA or ITF. I mean,
Either one, yeah.
I mean, God, there are a lot of things, I think, but I guess you can ask me this question more once I'm actually playing the tournaments, because I will know more. I feel like a lot
We can
has
check back
changed
in if you
since
want to
I stopped.
pass.
Maybe,
Well,
maybe, because a lot of things have changed, you know, a
yeah.
lot of things have changed since you know, it's been 7 years. When was it? My last tournament I played was December 2016.
Oh, it's like
So
yesterday, right?
how long is that?
It's not.
Yeah,
It's
like, yeah, a few days.
7 years.
Uh, God, oh my God. So a lot has changed that I'm just getting back into it. You know, 2 months ago, a little over 2 months ago, I decided I'm gonna play again. So I'm basically just training. I haven't played even a first tournament. So I don't know. I don't know honestly what to tell you. When we do a podcast, maybe sometime next year when your podcast is really big, and then when I am playing qualies of Roland Garros next year,
Speak
we
it
can
into
check back
existence, sis.
and
Come on now. Speak it into existence. We want both those things. That would be wonderful. Maybe we'll just, you know what? We're going to.
I mean, I'm not, you see, on purpose, I'm not saying if,
You're saying it
no,
is.
when it's happening, because
And
I can
then
see it. I can see it. So why not?
You'll finish up that year at the US Open, and my wife and I'll come sit in your box. That's what we'll do.
Yes.
That would
With
be a
your,
beautiful ending. With with what? What was that?
with, can you cut the podcast?
It can. Are you talking about the baby?
Can I say it?
It's fine. Yeah, there's a little boy on the way. That's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I said like, oh, but maybe the little one is not going to be in the box though.
We'll find out. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if he'll be ready to travel yet. Yeah, that's breaking news.
He'll travel, but not sit in the box. I'm saying the baby can't be there.
Yes, the world's best baby tennis podcaster will, if he's available, we'll
Yeah.
bring him as well. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll speak all that into existence. The pod's gonna grow, and that's where you're gonna be. 100%. I feel the energy. It's coming. What do you feel like? I mean, obviously, with aging, something that changes in our game is our maturity. You've learned a lot. You've learned lessons, and whenever you spend more time coaching, what people don't understand is that coach's brain. When you play a match, the matches are different now. After you spend time coaching, you see the game a little bit differently. What what are you wanting to do different as a player this time? Are you coming back with, a new favorite pattern? Do you see yourself closing the net more? Is it going to be a change in style of play, longer points, shorter points, different strategies? Or maybe just smarter about taking care of your body? What are some really important things that you've kind of learned?
I don't want to give all of my secrets, but
Well, you
I'm
don't have to
kidding.
give them all away.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm very open. Like as a person, I'm very open. And even like I do these weekly vlogs. This is a little like side note. So for everyone that's listening to this on my YouTube channel. So when I just started my comeback, I decided I'm going to record everything, you know. And what I do is like I go through the week and I record little bits and pieces of literally my everyday life of how it's looking like. And then on Sunday, I have somebody edit it, and every Monday I release a new episode. I have like 7 or 8 episodes so far. So it's been 2 months almost that I've been, training. So there you can really see my everyday life, literally everyday life. So, and since I started, I mean, there are a lot of things, like you said, I see the game differently because I've coached for the last 6 years. And I'm also a mom of 2 boys. I've been through a lot. So my maturity level is just like, ooh. But when it comes to the game, itself, I feel like I can still learn so much, and I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm trying to find what are the best ways. There's no one way that fits everyone, because, okay, what I need to focus on right now is I don't need to hit that many balls on the tennis court. I know how to play. I know very well how to play. I mean, there's some things I need to tweak on my forehand and on my serve, not on my backhand, not on my volleys. Forehand and serve is something that I'm working on, some like technique things. And then it's taking care of my body off the court, focusing on really injury prevention workouts, not just like pushing myself, because, that's what I did a lot before, I feel like, and that's why I had a lot of injuries, because it's just like, I feel like a lot of people think you have to just like push yourself so much. You have to train so hard. You have to do this. And that's me too, right? Because that's how I grew up. It's always just like, go, do, reps, go, come on, all of this stuff. And then, one injury, other injury, overuse of this muscle, overuse of that. And then you come and say, and that's how kind of like how I started now as well, because I'm like, okay, I'm going back on tour, I'm doing this, I have to do this. So I started training so hard, right? Like plus training, then then I have the kids, then it's like so many things. And then my body is like, hey, what are you doing? Like, let's press the brakes. Let's like slow down a little bit, because 1 week this hurts, 1 week that hurts. Then, and I can't even like do the full week of training because I'm constantly injured, like little injuries,
Right.
right? Even now, it's my back. Like I'm like barely standing because it hurts so much. So I'm being smarter when it comes to that. Like I'm working on it. It's a work in
Yeah.
progress, you know, and taking care more of like also mentally
Mhm.
training. I have somebody I'm working with on my breathing. It's
Mhm.
very important. You know, I've noticed that I don't breathe well on the court, and I get very tense and I get in my head a lot, you know. So now it's working on my breathing, taking my time, not rushing, enjoying the process. As cliche as it sounds, like I'm not like, I want to enjoy this day today, the practice I'm putting in today. I'm not thinking about the match I'm gonna play or about my goals and like, oh, I really want to play here. No, like now I'm here now and I'm enjoying this process. I used to not enjoy this much, and I used to not play for the love of the game. I would just think so much about my wins and my losses, and what is this person going to say and what is that person going to say, you know, and it would really affect me a lot. And I feel like a lot of tennis players are like that, you know. So now it's just like enjoying more, right? Day in, day out, even on the tough days, you know, like still like, okay, why am I doing this? And yeah, so focusing more on those things and not just on like playing, going, and being a little bit easy on myself, because I'm really like hardcore. And you know, now I have a business also that I'm running. I'm a mom, so I cannot do so much either. So finding that balance of managing it all, I guess.
No, I love all of that. And just a couple of things that are, like again, stand out to me. Taking care of the body is so key. It's so key. And it gets harder as we age, but part of the reason why it gets so difficult is, aging happens to all of us. It's something we can't beat. But sometimes we do a lot of damage to our bodies when we're young because, we think, oh, I don't need to warm up, I'm fine. Oh, I don't need to do that extra stretching, I'm fine. And over time that adds up. Champions or great people or people who are making a consistent career on tour, they do the little things right, and they take care of their body, and they surround themselves with good people. And people also don't realize, hey, you know what, if you've taken off a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, it's been a while, you can't come back out and immediately, go at it 100 miles per hour. It's okay to work yourself back into it. That's why for the average human being, they have this thing out there called couch to 5K. Because if you haven't ran in a while and you go out and just try to run, it's not going to work. You're going to hurt yourself. You got to start slow and work your way up and build your tolerance. And obviously, for an elite level tennis player like yourself, you know your body, you know what you can and can't do. You're working smarter, not harder. You're obviously going to surround yourself and put yourself in the right situation to be as successful as you can be. And we're wishing you nothing but the best. Um, if you could go back in time, obviously now you've coached young people, you've coached adults, all levels. You have this platform, and obviously you've played, like I said, an elite level. If you could go back and give advice to like your 13-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
Wow, this is so funny you asked me that. Before I answer, this is the question that changed my career 3 months ago when I was at the Miami Open.
Yeah.
I was at the Miami Open, and I was at this coaches conference. It was like ATP and WTA. So if you were an ATP player or WTA player, you can attend this conference. And at the end of the conference, you are you get your PTR certification and USPTA certification after 4 days. And 2 days it's like inside, and 2 days was on the court. And then oh my God, it was amazing. And at that time I was not planning to go on tour or anything. But it was amazing. The people that I met, the connections, how much I've learned. I mean, just incredible. But anyways, one of the speakers was Anne Grossman. She's in her 50s right now, but she, used to play at, Agassiz time, Sampras time. She was top 30, I think, WTA. So she was presenting because she's a founder of the WTCA, Women Tennis Coaching Association, her and Sarah Stone. And she was talking, about the transition from player to coach. So she was talking about that. She's a mom of 2 boys that are older now, about to go to college. But when she was my age, so she stopped playing when she was like 28. I stopped playing when I was like 23, 24. And then she had 2 boys back to back, and then she went on with her coaching career. So as I was listening to her, I was like, oh my God, I can learn so much from this woman, because I'm about to live the next 20 years of her life, kind of,
right.
Like, oh my God, I'm all ears, and I really love, but I truly believe that a great coach is the coach that constantly is willing to learn, constantly is educating himself, constantly is learning from other coaches, getting bits and pieces and finding out what, works for you. So anyways, there I was really all ears, and and I'm not shy. I go and I talk. As you can see, I like to talk a lot. So I went and I introduced myself at the end of her presentation. I told her a little bit about me, and I asked her that question. I was like, what is one, thing, and not to your 13-year-old self, to your younger self, like, what would you do differently? And she was like, if you have a little desire in you to go and play, she's like, she told me that she would go and play. She would go back and play, because she stopped when she was too young. And she's like, I regret it now that I didn't give myself more time to play, because she's like, you can never take back that time. She's like, you can always go back to your normal life. You can always run your business. You can always do what you're doing now, but you cannot take that time back.
Right.
And she's like, at that moment, it's like I knew that inside of me this entire time. I knew it.
Divine intervention.
But I needed somebody, I mean, that's been through it, to tell me this. She's like, you're gonna regret it if you don't. And I was like, oh my God, wow. And then, it's like, I thought about it, really, really a lot, but I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. It might be a little crazy at this age. I'm about to turn 31. I have 2 kids, and it's like, a lot of people I know are like, what are you doing now? Like, seriously. But I don't care. This is what I want to do. This is my calling. This is my dream, and it's not forever. I want to be like, okay, I gave it all. I have nothing else on the table to give. I made it. I didn't make it, whatever that means. But I want to live in peace for the rest of my life, right? Because I'm not. I stopped too young for some reasons, but now I'm doing it. But what I would give to my 13-year-old, oh my God, be happy, enjoy the process, and have fun on the court, because you love this game, and play for yourself, not anybody else. That's exactly how I would tell her, because we get so caught up. And I know my whole life, oh my God, I was just like suffering so much for no reason, and putting so much pressure on myself, like, I have to do this, I have to do this, didn't do this, oh my God, I didn't win, oh my God, what are my parents gonna say, oh, I was coach, oh my God, I'm a disappointment, this, that, No, no, just have fun. You're talented, you love this sport, play for yourself. That's what I would tell her.
I, I love every part of that. That's brilliant. I know exactly what piece of this pod I need to cut for social media.
Yes,
That's it right there. That's the money
yeah,
shot. If it was a movie, that's like the epic scene. It's the top of the mountain. I don't even know if we need to keep going. I mean, I could talk to a brick wall for an hour, and I haven't even hardly got a word in edgewise. So it's great. But no, that's perfect. And there's so many players out there that need to hear that. We play this game because it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. And if it's ever becoming not fun, you need to take a step back and say, hey, why is it not fun right now? Have that conversation with your parents, have that conversation with your coach. But you also have to keep in mind you can't do this forever, because your body's not going to allow you to. The father time catches us all. However, there's something that keeps you youthful when you continue to play games. It keeps you young. It keeps you. It's great for your energy. There's a balance between tearing up your body and it being a gift for your mental health, it being a gift for your physical health. There's a lot of research that shows that people who play tennis, because of those quick reaction and the parts of your brain that you're using, it's great for living a longer life. There's a lot of longevity that comes in later in life from playing this game. And if you haven't done it, Google that and then use some other search engine that maybe will sponsor us and pay us money at some point. I don't like to just throw out their word, but to look up, what just playing table tennis even for fun can do for your brain. We play games because they're fun. If it's not fun, have that conversation with your coach, but then also understand like there's got to be a balance. If you want to have fun, but if you want to have goals, there's certain things you have to do. So maybe there's things that you're doing that you need to take a step back from or whatever. And like you're kind of saying, had you kind of had this moment with her, I don't know, 4 years ago, after that 3 year break, you might have already been ready to make a comeback. But I'm a big believer that sometimes things hit us at the right time and we have to be at the right point in our lives. You've only been doing, tennis with Emma for the past 3 years. Right now, you're at the perfect place where you have a social media following, you've started the YouTube, you've surrounded yourself with good people, and now you have the opportunity not just to make a comeback, but as a gift to all of us tennis lovers, you have the ability to document the process. And I think that's a
yeah,
beautiful thing and maybe exactly what you were meant to do. For those people that love this game, they need to be following you. And I for one, am going to be one that's going to be checking on you because I want to see you have success, because I know the content you're putting out, it's blessing people, especially those people, like I said earlier. We need to see more from female coaches, and you've filled that role and you've put that information out there. I loved everything about your answer. um, oh man, Emma, where could I go from this? Obviously I have so many questions, but there's your answers are
we
so
can.
good that they're covering
Oh,
multiple. You what?
I mean, we can keep. No, I answer a lot, but I will be fine if we save it for the next time too, because I mean, I think this was very powerful. We touched some really powerful things.
We really did. I think that we did. I'm gonna hit you with a few more questions though, and then we're gonna have to do a follow up. I don't know if you're gonna come on and give answers like that. We might have to have a regular segment. I don't know. It's Coach's Corner with Emma. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out though, and then we're gonna keep getting updates until you're playing Roland Garros a year from now. It's gonna be exciting, and we're gonna get both more, obviously tips for those players that are learning from you and look up to you, but also the opportunity to kind of root for your story and for your path and your journey. So I agree, we're going to have to do this again, just because people are always looking for ways to get better. You've been coaching now, you've had that mindset. Let's say you have a player that's looking to get better. We'll say everyone's definition of good, great, excellent is different, right? Let's say this player is good. They're above average. They, solid forehand, solid backhand. They can volley, they can serve, like fundamentally strong. However, like the fundamentals are there, but they want to take their game from good to great, or even from great to excellent. What advice would you give someone who's looking to take their game to the next level? What is something that you would ask them to implement into their routine, or that you would say, hey, you know what, if you want to get a lot better, this is the drill you should be doing. If you really bang for your buck, you want to see improvement, you want to see better results, you want to improve your game, what would you tell them they need to be doing?
Just is this like anyone, like a kid, an adult, or like who are
Most
we
likely,
talking about?
a junior player or a college player. That's what I would say. Even someone playing for a smaller college or something. I mean, obviously, I feel like adults are their own thing. It's kind of a different thing, but I think your advice for juniors, you can scaffold that to the adults. But I think that that's a little different. So let's say like a junior tennis player.
A junior tennis player.
Yeah, let's
If they
do
want to
that.
take their if they want to take their game from good to great, they have
Yeah,
good fundamentals. They have good fundamentals.
yeah.
Yes,
Like
for sure.
if you were watching it and they came to you and you're just looking at it, and at first glance you're like, I wouldn't change your forehand. I wouldn't change your backhand. I wouldn't change your serve, because obviously I feel like that is so, that is so specific to the player. You'd have to really see it. So someone listening to the podcast that like, but Ryan Harrison, for example, when I had him on the pod, he talked about a drill that he always does with his players where you have to make 10-second serves in a row in order to be done with the lesson or something like that. It's something he does at the end. He's like, because until that second serve becomes automatic, he kind of explained his whole thought process there. And I thought, that's great. Because when all of a sudden, hey, I'm never going to double fault, I could really go for this first serve, and my second serve's a good one. It gives you a different type of confidence, right? So, but that's not necessarily, hey, they should make sure they're palm down on their serve. We don't know if they are or they're not. So, what is something for a player that you're like, okay, the fundamentals look good, but we want their level. They want to push their level. What should they be doing?
Maybe you're not gonna like this. I mean, it's a great question. Uh, of course, I'm gonna say something at first that's like obvious, because it depends on the player, right?
Right. It does. It really
There,
does.
there's no one like magic thing that's gonna be like, okay, it's gonna make you great. I mean, what I would look into, first, there's some like questions I would ask, like, okay, like you can look great in practice and have great fundamentals, but you know how to play a match. You know how to play
Right.
points.
Right.
To me, that's so important to
Mm-hmm.
practice, to like putting yourself in that situation. Like the other day I was practicing, right? And I was doing like this match play. I had a set organized, and I was telling my coach, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm in the match, because when I'm in the match and when I'm in a practice match, I'm like, it's different. I'm so
Right.
much more relaxed, right? Then
Right.
I get into the actual match and I'm like so tense. And it's like, okay, I like all these thoughts, but then like in the practice match, so finding a way to do these practice matches and to put yourself like mentally in that like situation, like you're playing an actual
Mm-hmm.
match, right?
Something on the line.
Because yes, something on the line. And I did that. Then later with this guy, I just like, okay, I really want to win this. Like I don't want to lose more than 2 games or something. And
Right.
and then I'm like more tense, like more in that match mindset. Putting yourself in those situations in practices, like not just going through the motion, right? Not just going through the motion. Okay, I'm playing a practice set. Okay, whatever. Putting yourself in a real match situation when you're practicing too, when you're doing drills as well, setting the small goals,
Right.
instead of just because you're just rallying cross court, right? And when you have an actual goal, okay, I have to make this many in a row between service line and baseline, just something plain, like challenging yourself in each practice and not just going through the motion.
Right.
Does that make
It
sense?
does, and I'll give you an example of the drill that I actually do with the people that I coach, and it's one of my favorite things. Obviously, not everyone's motivated by the same thing, and it comes down to the coaches kind of knowing the player as to what they like
Yeah.
doing, what they don't like doing, things like that. I'm not a big fan of like, I'm going to make you do that. I feel like players have to take ownership for their own improvement in their own game. However, great thing to do. Uh, and both players, if you're out there, if you're not with your coach and you're out there playing with another just player, or you're playing with a friend or whatever, if your friend doesn't have the same goals as you and they don't want to put something on the line and they just want to play, that's up to them. You can ask them, they say no, that doesn't matter. But for example, let's say you're going to go out and you're going to play a practice match. You're trying to hold yourself to a higher standard. Pick the exercise that you like the least. You don't like doing lunges? Okay, every game that I lose today, I got to do 10 lunges. I got to do 5 on each leg. Or every, it's 5 push-ups. I don't know if it depends how often you do push-ups. You would have to pick what it is. If you hate push-ups, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, for every game I lose, I've got to do 5 push-ups. And no one's going to make you do those push-ups except for yourself. There's an accountability piece there. But if you do that, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So then all of a sudden you're playing hard. I'm like, I don't want to do push-ups. You're playing hard, but you're going to hold yourself accountable. And I'm not even saying, oh, but you want to play well. You don't want to be sore while you're playing. That's fine. Do them at home later. Know that when that match is over, like, hey, I played my friend. I always beat them. But I lost 4 games today. It could be, people are always like, oh, I don't want to play with that person. I'm way better. You got to play with people that have different game styles, play balls. Maybe you're limited to who you have to play with. Even if you beat them all the time, that doesn't mean you can't train your mind to say, I need my best footwork today. And in order to do that, every time, that I lose a game, I'm going to have to do 5 push-ups later. And, if you don't think, if you think that's going to embarrass your friend, or it's weird or it's awkward, don't tell them about it. You're playing a mind game with yourself. If they're competitive, have them do it too. They're going to be ripped, and so are you. And you're going to be benefiting yourself by holding yourself to a certain standard, putting something on the line that's additional to kind of raise that nervous energy in your body, to kind of raise that anxiousness when you're playing, those deuce points or that big point. All of a sudden it's like, man, I don't want to lose this point because I want to do more push-ups. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be that. It could be a lap on the track. I don't know what it is, but there are ways to make it more competitive, and that's something I like to do with my players.
I like that a lot.
So moving from
I
there,
need to start using.
You're gonna have to use that one.
I'm gonna use it, definitely. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got tons of those, but if I, it's funny, if I would have just started a podcast and then I just say all my tennis takes and my drills and the things that I've learned, nobody would listen, right? It's not how it's going to work. Like, it just doesn't. But anytime I hear something similar or something I really align with, I'm like, man, that's great. And more people need to hear that. I've got someone in particular right now that I kind of casually play. I play pickleball with or whatever. And I'm trying to stay in shape. And like once a week we'll play. And what I do is okay, I'm a lot better than him. He's never beaten me, but for every point that I lose, I've got to do 5 push-ups, right? Because he doesn't give me. I actually, was it up to 5? It depends how tired I am, but it's like 5 pushes per point. You're playing to 11, whatever. At the end of the game, you do it. But then he does 1 push-up for every point he loses. He does 11 push-ups every single time we play. We can't play that many games. He gets exhausted and then he goes home. But it's fun because we're both competitive and we kind of get after it. It's something to do for cross training and a little extra. So anyway, moving on from that, Emma, I gotta know, do you have any tennis hot takes? Something you're just really passionate about?
What do you mean? Anything about tennis?
I think, yeah, like something I'm passionate about. I think professional tournaments should have a backdraw.
No.
I would love that. What if Emma, what if you're my favorite player and I travel really far to watch you play, you lose first round, and now I don't get to see you play again. We in the backdraw, we play no ad. In the backdraw, we play fast 4 format. In the backdraw, it's on a different court, and the crowd's allowed to cheer and be loud, and there's food and there's music, and it's like an event, it's like a party. You're out there and you're in the middle of a point and the whole place is like ole 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 ole, like it's getting loud, like that's what we want to party. I mean, they're playing crazy music, make it fun. It's a way for you to get, every match you win in the back, you get 5 extra ranking points and you get another paycheck. Why not?
So wait, only in the backdraw you can cheer? So you have like this backdraw where people are allowed, and then you have a regular
unless you can convince the ATP and the WTA to let people be louder and play music and be exciting on the regular tour. But in the backdraw, That's what they're doing at pickleball events. They're making an event. There's people drinking wine. They're eating a burger. They're getting up and down. There's music playing. They're having fun. It's like tennis can be an event. It has that ability. Play the back draw matches on one side of the facility, play the main draw matches on the other. You can have both events happening simultaneously. You know, it can happen, and it could be cool. And it's an opportunity for people for those players that are playing, another opportunity to get a few ranking points. Those 5 extra ranking points from winning one back draw match, over time, it creates more like an extra protected ranking, right? In that extra paycheck, everybody's like, I'm already here. Give me another match. Give me a chance to win. And every back draw match is worth exactly 5 points in this much. And you know, if you're hurt, you withdraw. It's not a big deal. The next person moves on, and they play it all the way out to 3rd place. But that's a hot take. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to agree with me, but I think it would be cool. If I drove all the way to see you and you lose first round, I'm going to be bummed. I want to watch you play again, right?
Yeah, that I really like that. I never thought about that. The only thing that I would change in that is the no ad thing. Yeah, you can do short games. I hate no ad. I hate no ads. Oh my God.
Okay, so here's
Like,
my case for no ad. Hear me out. It changes the game. It levels the playing field. Different people can win. I get that. I totally get that. But have you ever watched a basketball game, Emma? You ever watched a basketball game? Okay, what makes a basketball game exciting? Lead changes. When one team's winning, then the other team's winning, then the other team's winning. A no ad deuce point, you might lose 3 straight games, but then you might win 4 in a row. It's going to be back and forth crazy. I'm just saying, it's a different product. It's almost a different game. I know.
I feel like you already talked about this, and you're like ready for everything that I say to you, and you're like really, you thought through this, and I like it. I like the idea. I really do.
It's like a tournament within a tournament. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't allow that because, you know, I feel like they're always going to keep tennis as, you know, quiet and all that. But that's what I liked in college. I really did. Like my first year, I was like very, you know, timid and shy. And I was like, oh my God, from then on, I was like the loudest, you know, and yes. I love it. I love the energy, brings the energy and the excitement. And yeah, I really like the idea. God, hot takes. I've never heard of that saying. Remember, I'm Bosnian. So when you said hot takes, I'm like, what do you mean? What is taking hot?
It's like something you're passionate about. Some people, they want to see the structure of, you know, something change at the pro tour level, or maybe they don't like the way junior tennis is structured. They don't like the tournaments. In junior tournaments, would like to see a lot more round robin type tournaments where you playing a lot of people, and then based on how many you win at the end, you could have a final or whatever. But you know, you've come to a tournament, you're paying all this money, you get so many matches, and it's like, hey, I didn't win any matches, I don't get you ranking points, but then you just kind of break it down. I think that from a development standpoint, that makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more player friendly. I think it should be about people getting better. And if you're, as much as the USTA is charging now for tournaments, these people that are paying to play that actually love tennis, they need to get their matches. FMLC, which is a first match losers consolation tournament, needs to no longer be allowed. If it should not exist, there shouldn't be players that at single elimination shouldn't exist. FMLC, which is where if you lose once and then you go to the back, it's like only guaranteeing 2 matches, shouldn't exist. If I win one match and then I'm a player that's maybe not a top seed, in second round, I play the 1 seed and I just got a bad draw, and now my weekend's done, but you made me pay $90 to play this tournament. Why would I play next time? I knew I wasn't going to win the whole tournament. I'm here to have fun because I love it and to get better. Feed me into the backdrop or put me into something else. I paid a lot of money to be here. I traveled here. I love tennis. Why should I be punished because I got a bad draw? Give them opportunities to get more ranking points. Back draw matches should be worth more ranking points they currently are. It's weighted way too much for front draw versus back draw. That's a personal opinion. You see, I've got a lot of hot takes, Emma. I've got a lot of changes I think would be fun or that I'd like to see.
I have zero. I have zero hot takes. Maybe if I thought about this before. God.
We're gonna have to hang out more often, Emma. I'm gonna persuade you and get you fired up about something.
You really, yes, because I'm really, and I'm not that creative, or you know. I don't know.
I'm a barely functioning ADHD adult. My brain is, I see squirrels everywhere. I'm like, squirrel where? Like it's just everywhere. So I've got a lot of thoughts in this brain. It's okay.
My God. Yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah, I zero. I'm trying to think. I can't. I can't.
That's
I
okay. We'll
can't.
move on. It's all right. You know what? You're gonna come back on here often enough that we're going to eventually get a hot take from you because we're going to be following you closely. I'm super excited about your comeback. Uh, Emma, I think this has really been great. I'm going to hit you with two questions really quick. I think that they'll be pretty simple, and we'll have to do this again really soon. Here at the Grassroots Tennis Pod, we believe in giving people their flowers. Who is someone underappreciated in the tennis community?
You broke off. I heard giving
Oh,
flowers.
yes, we believe in giving people their flowers here at the Grassroots Tennis Podcast. Who is someone underappreciated in the tennis community?
Wow, these are hard.
Like,
Underappreciated.
yeah, like a coach that, who are the people a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like you watch TV, if they're a high profile former player or a got person coaching like the number top 5 in the world, they're going to get shine. Otherwise, nobody talks about them. It could be a coach, or it could be like, I play this tournament. It's the best tournament ever run. They never get any credit. They're amazing. Or maybe it's like, hey, this is the best chair umpire I've ever met. Nobody gives them a shout out. They're not famous. They're not getting appreciated. Someone you're going to say thank you to just by saying, hey, you know what? You're good at what you do and I appreciate you.
Wow. Can it be just like somebody that I know personally?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm giving this honor to one of my coaches that works with me. His name is Jose, and he's not famous or anything, but he puts in so much work.
Yeah.
He's like the coach that like I mean he's worked with me for a year now. I didn't have one client, one parent ever complained about him. Nothing, not even the smallest thing. He always puts day in, day out. He does the extra work, never asks for extra money or anything, but just like works so hard, comes up with new drills, new ideas, plans his lessons, sends me what he did in the lessons. I mean, amazing. Literally, I wish, I mean, yeah. So that's him.
I
That's
love
the
that. I
person.
love that answer. That's perfect. I think that's great. I think Jose sounds like that's someone that I'm going to have to interview at some point because he sounds pretty great. Uh,
You have to.
I
He's
would love. I
amazing.
would love to. So you can't. Okay, now you can't name him for this next question. My last question for you is, I feel like pretty simple. Who do you think needs to come on the Grassroots Tennis Pod? Keep in mind, whoever you say, you have to help us get this person who has a tennis brain, who has a story, who has information that the tennis world needs to hear. I've been trying to encourage people to give me 2 names. I've been saying, hey, give me a player. I don't care if they're playing pro, college, junior player, someone that's passionate about the game or really has a brain. And then I've been saying, hey, a community leader. Let it be a coach or someone who's in the tennis community that's just doing things, a volunteer, somebody who's, like that knows the game though, like if eventually this podcast takes off and people around the world who are going to eventually stumble across this content, who does the world need to hear from? And you got to help us. You're the one with the contacts, not me.
Definitely. Yeah, I know. Definitely the number one I would say is Nick, the intuitive tennis. If
Okay.
somebody knows about tennis, it's him, and I'll help you get him on.
Okay.
Amazing. You need to, yeah.
I would love to.
Him 100%. Him 100%. I would say Kyle Lacroix. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. He's very involved in somebody also knows about tennis. This guy is amazing. He's in Boca, and when I was getting my USPTA certification, he was like the person that was deciding. And then I had him on my podcast, and I mean, like, the conversations with him, another level. Like his answers, like oh my God, like, wow. So I had both of them on my podcast, but I feel like your questions are way better than mine. So,
Huh.
so you definitely can get them. And the female, definitely Emma Doyle.
Okay.
She's one of my. She's an Australian coach. She was on TED Talks. And I can help you get her. I mean, if you want to learn about tennis or about just coaching people in general, I do her like seminar shops on like coaching her 100%. Who else? I just do those three.
I think that's great. That's already more than I need. I would love to talk to any of them, and if we can make that happen, that sounds totally great.
I'll,
Emma, Emma, before we go, I want to give you an opportunity. Could you kind of go through and obviously your page is at Tennis with Emma. Where all can people subscribe to you and get more Emma? Where can they find you?
So it's important to say that it's Emma with one M. So Tennis with Emma on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then also on YouTube. And then I have a website, www.tenniswithemma.com. And I also have a podcast, which is the Amazing, so EMA Zing Tennis Podcast. Jose came up with that name because he does so much for me and like a lot of great ideas. So Amazing Tennis Podcast, that's on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And that's it. Follow me everywhere.
Absolutely, Emma. I've really enjoyed this, and I just want to thank you so much for coming on today. I don't think this is the last time we're going to be talking.
Oh, but
been,
I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that are listening to the Grassroots Tennis Podcast, if you like what we're doing here, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow us. You can follow us on Instagram at Grassroots Tennis Pod. You can also find us on YouTube, and we're currently working on and Spotify for podcasters. We're on Spotify. You can find us anywhere. Soon you'll be able to find us anywhere that you like to listen to your podcast. Working hard on getting all that content on those different platforms. It's been a process, but Emma, thank you. And we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I had so much fun. We'll talk soon.